to buy Canelo versus Golovkin at $16.95. Press box office on your Sky remote or visit boxnation.com.
Controls himself, he just needs to be focused, put in the right direction, basically wind him up, tell him what he's got to do, and he does it, and when he's finished he's just got no energy left to cause any problems. So, you know, he's knuckled down, he's done 14 weeks in camp to the letter T. He's trained hard, and you know, the way he trained before, he wasn't wrong, it just wasn't right for him. And I think, you know, Monroe's team probably looked at him in the December fight and thought this is going to be easy, but you know, Billy Joe Saunders is a different kid. He's fit, he's strong, he's on weight, and he's not going to be the kid who turned up to fight Eubanks or his last fight, or even Andy Lee. He's in fantastic shape, he's on the weight, you know, he's done everything 100% right. And I think, you know, on Saturday night, it's going to be a very, very tough fight for Willie Monroe Jr. I'm predicting maybe a late stoppage for Billy, or, you know, a wide points, and that's how good it's going to be.
And I mean, what's the difference? Obviously, you've taken a new nutritionist on board, so he's, you know, I guess he's been eating right. Has it been sort of a monastic existence up in Wincobank?
No, we've got Greg Marriott, who, you know, he does the diets for Terry Flanagan, world champion Terry Flanagan, Kell Brook. You know, we're used to these guys who are coming in heavy into camp. You know, a great example is Kell Brook. You know, he blows up, but he gets in fantastic shape. But you can't get in that kind of fantastic shape. You can eat all the food you want, but if you haven't got the commitment to train and train hard, there's just no quitting Billy Joe Saunders. You know, when he's doing the rounds in the ring and when he's doing the runs, you know, he just keeps going and going and going until you tell him to stop. So you've got to have that, and not many fighters can do that. You know, not many fighters can stick to the diet either, but it's almost like we've been feeding him under the prison door. We've locked him away in a house, he gets 4 meals a day, he's still eating 4 meals a day. You know, usually at this point, for 2 weeks before a weigh-in, he's starving himself, he's drying himself out, he's killing himself before he gets in the ring, and then he's doing 12 rounds. You know, this time, he's being fed properly, he's being watered properly, you know, and he's going to come in peak condition, and on the night, he should do 12 rounds on his head easily.
And he's been living with Kid Galahad here as well?
He's been living with Barry, but he's in an environment in that gym where you've got everybody, you know, after fights, Kid Galahad, after his last fight, was straight back in the gym, and Billy came in and said, "What's he doing?" I said, "He's training." Well, he hasn't got a fight yet, but that's how we do it in Sheffield. Everybody trains, we don't have weeks off. You know, boxing's a full-time job. It's not have a fight, train for a fight, have a camp and then finish. You know, you come back in a couple of days after and you start back again. You've got maybe 10 or 12 years as a boxing pro, and you've got to capitalise on that. And over the years, the likes of Johnny Nelson, you know, even Ryan Rose Jr., which are all these guys, have all had long careers, you know, without any damage, because they've done it right. And hopefully this is going to be the start of big things for Billy Joe Saunders. It's the first step on the ladder. He's 28 now. There's some massive fights in front of him, and he hasn't waited till that big fight's come, the Golovkin or the Canelo. He's taken a step before that to see what it's all about. We've had 12, 14 weeks, you know, to get him into shape. His next fight, all being when it comes through this in style, he'll be in a camp probably for 20 weeks doing a lot of stuff. We haven't publicised this, but we've had him up at Sheffield Hallam University doing tests on him. We've had him sleeping in an oxygen tent. We've had all these kind of things done behind the scenes, but nobody's seen. And I think, you know, the fighter that Willie Monroe Jr. is expecting to get in the ring on a Saturday night is not going to be the fighter he's going to get. He's going to get a new and improved version of Billy Joe Saunders. We all know Billy can fight. You know, he's a traveller, that's what they do. They fight for fun, they fight for free. So on Saturday night, he's actually getting paid. He's getting paid well, and he's going to put on a show.
Just before we hear from Artie and Willie and Billy himself, you know, you mentioned a couple of the big names who've come through your Wincobank gym with yourself and with your brother and with your dad Brendan. You know, I mean, there's been some remarkable talent come through that Sheffield gym. You know, think back to Naz and to Herol and you know, other terrific fighters who've come through. You've seen all those at close hand. Where does Billy's talent actually as a boxer have him standing alongside some of those great names? Well,
I remember the day when Frank phoned me up and I got a call from Frank, and it was a missed call. I thought, oh, what's Frank wanting? Does he want some money off me or something? Or some kind of problem? And I phoned him back. And he just said to me, you know, I've got a fighter for you to train. And when he said Billy Joe Saunders, you know, I was thinking fantastic, because of all the fighters that are out there, that's the kind of guy who can fight. He can fight, he can defend, he can box. And he reminds me of a very good young Ryan Rhodes, but a lot more experienced. When Ryan Rhodes was coming through years back, you know, he was flashy, he was southpaw, he got the moves, he could fight forwards and backwards. And Billy reminded, you know, a lot of him. So there's fighters in that gym who've made the mark as a champion. You know, Nazim Hamid, Junior Witter, Kell Brook. They've all got one thing in common. I keep talking about this. It's the X factor that nobody can quite put the finger on. And Billy's got that. You know, they go into the ring, no matter how prepared or unprepared they are, with the will to win. And they might only go in at 50%, but they always find a way to win. But unfortunately, it always comes to a point when the luck runs out. And Billy's managed to nip that in the bud before he's got to that point. Like I say, he's 28, he's probably got another 4 or 5 years to make the big fights. And there's some big fights out there for him, and he's making the move now to correct all his mistakes of the past. And so far, he's done everything 100% right.
Well, that's from Dominic Ingle, who, of course, has been working directly with Billy and got him in.
It's Michelle Joy Phelps, and if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you go ahead and do so by clicking right here.